In this video, I'm going to tell you about the reflection journals and quizzes. I'm going to give you the instructions for those and kind of go over some things that students sometimes ask about when they're completing a reflection journal. Okay, so I'm looking at a page from our YouTube class. This is in our Start Here folder, and it's provided there for you so that you can refer to it throughout the semester. And in this video, I'm just going to go over what I've got written here. So you have a weekly assignment called a reflection journal. We have 16 weeks in the semester, and you need to do 10 reflection journals. You can only do one per week. You have to do it before the due date listed, and there are some general requirements that are listed here in the explanation and instructions heading. Okay, so so you're required in each lesson folder, you're required to watch videos and take notes on them if you are my online student. If you are my face-to-face student, you will come to class with me and we will cover the exact same topics that online students are covering, but we'll do it in person. And so you will have notes for each week, each day that we meet, each week that we meet. If you're my face-to-face student, if you're my online student, you've got 4, 5, 6 short videos that take about as much of your time to watch them as coming to my face-to-face class. And so what you'll do is take notes on those videos and just label your notes by the video title, because you're going to have to cite those notes in your reflection journal. Okay, and so your reflection journal is pass-fail. You either get 10 points or you don't get 10 points. And it's super easy to get 10 points. All you have to do is follow these 12 items on this list right here. And you'll be good to go. The feedback that I give you on your reflection journal is going to help you make sure that you follow all these steps. You know, sometimes I will give you some feedback. Hey, this is going to be okay this time, but correct this issue for the next one that you do. That might be, you know, an example of some feedback that you would get from me for your reflection journal. So essentially, you will get 10 points for each of your 10 reflection journals if you follow this guideline, this list of guidelines here. Number one, this is not about AI completing something for you. This is about you being active in the class and taking notes and using your gorgeous brain to summarize those notes in paragraph format after you finish taking notes from the in-person class or the online lectures, whichever applies to you. Okay? So you're not going to use AI in this assignment. You are going to each week, in each weekly folder, this is for both face-to-face and online students. We are going to progress through the semester, or progress, I guess is how I should say that, through the semester in weekly folders, okay? So online students will have lecture videos to watch in those weekly folders, and face-to-face students will have information about what we are covering as it relates to the course learning outcomes in our face-to-face class. You'll take notes, and at the end of the week, or when you finish taking all of your notes, you will click on the reflection journal link in that folder and go to the reflection journal, where you will see number 3, a text box to put your summary of the topics that we've covered from that particular set of lessons. Okay? It is your job to summarize and review the information that we just covered. Do not upload a file or include a link to a Google Doc or anything. You need to put your information in a text box. Okay? And number 4, you're supposed to summarize your notes in paragraph format. Write them in paragraph format like you learned to do in, I don't know, second grade. I don't know how old we are when we learn to write paragraphs, but you know, opening sentence, 3 or 4 description sentences, and 1 closing sentence. That's what a paragraph is at the college level. And so you're supposed to rewrite the topics that we covered from our notes in paragraph format and cite your notes. This information we talked about in video number 6, or this information we talked about on Thursday this past week. And so cite it very informally. You don't have to use any kind of particular citation style like your English class requires, like your speech class requires. Some people require you to do that, but I'm not going to require you to do that in this class. I simply need you to avoid plagiarism, and I will allow you to do that by saying, Mrs. T said blah, 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 like I have it here, so I know where you got your information. If you bring in outside sources, which I'm going to talk about later down here, if you bring in outside sources, which you have to sometimes, you do need to cite that a little bit more thoroughly, but you still don't have to do it in a formal kind of way. You need to just provide a little bit of information, more information about your outside source in your sentences, okay? All right, so there's 16, number 5, there's 16 opportunities to do a reflection journal, and you need to do 10 of them if you want a perfect score. Sometimes people only do 5 or 6. Okay, well, that's a 60 point out of 100, result. And I want you to get 100 out of 100. So please make sure that you do 10. You will have 16 opportunities. You do 10. Okay, that's the max you can get on this assignment is 100 points. Okay, and so you choose when you're going to do the reflection journal. If we cover stuff during the week and you have a very firm grasp of it and you think you're going to ace the quiz without doing a review, then skip it that week if that's how you want to make your decision. If you already know you're going to be in Greece for 2 weeks, go ahead and do as many reflection journals as possible before you go to Greece. Skip them while you're in Greece and then come back and do the rest of them when you come back to the semester. So you choose however you want to do it. And the Greece example was a real life scenario from my summer semester for one of my students. And so yeah, you choose when you do them, and you can base it on when you already know that you've got to be out of town for a wedding or something. Okay. You choose it. I want this to be an easy way for you to get 100 points, and get credit for your note taking and get credit for, reviewing the topics. Okay. If you skip a reflection journal for any reason, nope, you can't make it up. You're supposed to skip some. So no, you can't make up the ones that you missed while you were in Greece. And if you didn't do enough before you left for Greece, so you're not going to get a full 100 points, I'm sorry, that's not my issue. You need to manage your time so that you don't run out of weeks in the semester and you get all 10 of them done as soon as possible. Okay, so you have to have 200 words each time you complete one, and that is not headings and names and titles. That is 200 words of the body of your reflection journal. I will give you feedback on each reflection journal, and you're required to read it because sometimes I tell you a change that you need to make moving forward so that you can get credit the next time, for instance. And so make sure you read that. I'll always give you feedback. It's always personalized feedback. I don't copy and paste feedback to everybody in the class. This is me and you, baby. Okay. I want to talk to you about what you have said in your reflection journal. And so that's how it'll work. Okay. So 5 of the 10 reflection journals have to include an outside source. And what is an outside source? It's something that you find, something that came to your mind while we were covering the topics we're covering in class. Lots of movies, lots of current events, song lyrics, all kinds of stuff, a novel you're reading, all kinds of stuff. You will find our topics relate to the stuff that you're already doing in your daily life. And when that happens and you can cite something for me, then in your summary of the lesson, say, while we were talking about blah, blah in class, I thought about this thing and here's why. And so make that part of your 200 words. Sometimes I will prompt you with an outside source. I often do that in the lectures as you're listening to the lectures. If I mention, oh, you could do this as an outside source, jot it down in the margin of your notes page so that you can, recall that, oh, I prompted you with an outside source. And so you can, you don't have to come up with it by yourself. You can use the ones that I suggest in our lecture material. Okay, and so you're not going to use AI as an outside source for this. I need something cited, published, that I could go and find myself and look at it. You have to turn in I'm on number 11 now. You have to turn in your reflection journal before the due date and time listed in the weekly folder. If you wait till after the due date and time in the weekly folder, you've skipped it. Even if you submit it and it follows all of these other requirements here, if you submit it after that midnight due date and time, you don't earn credit for it. My feedback to you is going to be, I'm sorry you missed the due date, so there's no credit for this. Try to make sure you do it in a timely manner the next time so you can earn credit for your work. Okay? I don't like providing providing feedback like that. I don't like that feedback. I want to be able to say, this is great. I've never thought about this before. You've got some good insight. What about thinking about this way? How about if you change your ideas toward this? What do you think about that? I like that kind of feedback. I don't like having to tell somebody they didn't get credit because they didn't do one of these simple things I'm going over with you right now. Okay? So don't make me find you and shake you by the shoulders. I want you to get credit on this. And all you need to do is turn it in before the due date and time. Make it 200 words. Summarize in paragraph format what we've talked about in those lessons. You know, that kind of thing. Okay? Number 12, it is best if you do your reflection journal before you take the quiz on those topics for that particular set of lessons in your folder or for that particular week of class we've had together. Pardon me. It's best if you do that because the reflection journal is designed for you to review your notes, review the topics, think about them hard enough for you to write a paragraph or two about them, 200 words worth. So if you do your reflection journal before you take your quiz, you're going to be so much better off. You are going to have all the topics fresh on your mind and you're going to ace the quiz. That's how it works. You're going to ace the quiz because the quiz is not designed to be tricky or to confuse you or to be anything like that. It's designed to cover the material that we've covered that week. So if you have already done your reflection journal and you've covered the material that we covered that week, you're going to ace the quiz. And that's what I want for you also. I want you to ace the quiz. And so the quizzes, you need to get 100 points on quizzes, and you have 17 opportunities, 10 points at a time, to get 100 points. And so that means you can also skip quizzes if you wish. Some people take all 17 quizzes. I'm still going to drop your 7 low scores. Some people take 10 quizzes and they like their scores and they stop taking quizzes. They start getting zeros on quizzes, but those zeros don't hurt them because I'm going to drop 7 quiz scores. And so you decide when you're going to take a quiz. Sometimes you just flake out, you fall asleep, you miss the deadline. No, I'm not going to reopen it for you. That's just one of the quizzes that you skipped. I think I told you in the syllabus video that that somebody told me one time their cat hit submit, and could I reopen it for them? Nope. Your cat got a 3 out of 10. I'm sorry, but I dropped that 3 out of 10. I dropped it. It's not going to hurt you. Make sure that you are responsible with your quiz schedule so that you, over the next 17 weeks that we're together, you make sure to take 10 quizzes. And if you're not happy with those 10 quiz scores, then keep on taking more until you've got 10 quiz scores that you are happy with. Okay? Make sure you take the quiz before the due date because it disappears. The quiz link is going to disappear if you're after the due date and time and you cannot go back and take it. That also happens to be the time when your reflection journal, you can no longer submit your reflection journal because you haven't done it in a timely manner. Your reflection journal is due before the quiz is due, and so make sure that you do those two things in conjunction with each other, please. Add the due dates to your phone right now because Blackboard does not always give you accurate due dates. Please do not rely on that activity stream thing that you land on when you go to Blackboard, because that, I don't know how and why, it has really wrong information sometimes about when stuff is due. So please make sure that you follow the due dates that are listed in the content folders that I will mention in class if you're my face-to-face student, or that I will post in the weekly folders if you're my online student. And this is going to be a great semester. You're going to ace this. It's not hard, and I want you to be successful. And the quiz and the reflection journal assignments, these are designed for you to keep your pulse kind of elevated just a little bit in class to make sure that you keep current with the information and that you ace your stuff, that you ace stuff. Okay? That's what I want for you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.